Hi, this is Jason Husky. I'm going to show you how to use pivot tables in Excel. So the first thing you do is go to the bank account that you're using and download a CSV file of whatever date period you want. I have downloaded a sample one here and removed all the identifying numbers and names. Then you'll want to go and save it as a regular Excel workbook. And the reason you do that is because a CSV file cannot have multiple tabs down here. And when we create the pivot table, you're going to have an extra tab down here that you'll want to save. Okay, so the next thing we do is we'll create a category column here. And then you just start entering your category names. And I'll just do a few here. And okay, and now I've entered all the categories. And just make sure you spell your categories the same every time. So these two office expenses here, those will be grouped together because they're spelled the same. If you make a spelling error, then you'll have two different office expense categories on your pivot table. Okay, so then to create the pivot table, you want to select the whole sheet, and I usually do that just by clicking this little triangle up here. And the reason that you want to select the whole sheet and not just the portion where your data is because later, the next month, you can copy and paste the bank export down here, and then just go into your pivot table and update it, and so that you don't have to create a brand new pivot table each month. Okay, so once everything is selected, click Insert, Pivot Table, and then your table range is already filled out because you selected everything. And then you want it to go into a new worksheet. Click OK. And this is where you set up the pivot table. You'll use these two boxes down here at the bottom, the row labels and the values. And so you drag this category down into row labels, and then drag debit down into values. And mine defaults to count of debit, but I want it to be sum of debit. So go to Value Field Settings, click Sum, and OK. And then you see it gives the dollar amounts instead of just the count of how many advertising items there were. And then you can do the same thing with the credit column. Drag it down there. Click Value Field Settings, Sum. And now you've got a real simple income statement here. You can see it's not formatted properly, but if you want to format it, I would just copy it and paste it into a new sheet here and just start formatting it however you want, and so on. And let's see, one other thing, really cool thing about pivot tables, let's go back to the pivot table here, is that you can refresh it. So when you add new data each month to your sheet here, then you can go back to the pivot table, click under Options, click Refresh, and then you have all the new data for the month in here. I hope this helps.